Welcome to 6++, a wargaming channel dedicated to scratching your competitive and tactical 40k itch. We've had a lot of change going on recently. We have got a change of mat, a change of terrain, a change of backdrop, even a change of outfit. And you know what, guys? Well, Lee, what have you brought for us today?
Well, Chris, I've brought Laws of Change.
With the introduction of 9th edition, Necrons have really changed shape. If you think back to 8th, I know the lists I used to run were kind of shooting based and lots of vehicles. That obviously doesn't work with how rules and how the objectives are played now. So you're kind of seeing two versions of Necron's armies at the moment. You're seeing an objective secured one, which is designed to just hold the objectives, play the mission really well. And you're also seeing more of a close combat one, maybe based with the Silent King and that sort of thing. I have gone for a bit more of a objective based one today. The goal being to just play the mission really well. Yeah. To do that, I decided to choose the custom dynasty. So I have gone for 6-inch pre-game move. So that helps me obviously move up the table. And then everything is objective secured.
Yes, and am I right in saying that troops actually count as 2?
They do, yes. So all those troops, obviously I'm taking Necron warriors, there'll be 2 on each objective, and then the rest of the army is already OBSEC. So with that in mind, and I know I want to play the mission well, I then had to think, well, what is going to do that job? So inevitably I've got to take warriors. So I've taken a 20-man blob of warriors, and I've taken a 10-man blob. Now, the 20-man warrior blob is really hard to kill. I can use one of my other characters, a chronomancer, to give them a 5-up invuln. They're going to be really hard to shoot down. I get to reanimate consistently. They're obviously reanimating on 5s, rerolling 1s. They do a job. And I've given them the gun, which means that they are strength 4 -1. And then I've got a 10-man blob, and that's going to go in a ghost arc. That's quite useful because I can kind of move it up onto an objective, hold the objective with my ghost arc,
and then when it's killed,
out come more OBSEC,
double 20 bodies.
Yeah, precisely. So that's kind of that vibe. They won't really ever receive the 5-up invuln because it's just too small a squad. So I've got some troops, but I felt I needed more fast-moving things to move around, grab those objectives, and it just so happens there is the perfect unit. Now, Lee's smiling because he knows how much I love these guys. Yeah. Is of course Scarabs.
It's bordering on obsession.
Yeah, you can only take 27. It's really unfair. Too many. Too many Scarabs. I actually only have 26 in this list, just for points, which I'll explain in a bit. But yeah, they are fast moving, they're moving 10 inches, they've got that 6-inch pre-game move, they've got 4 attacks, you can explode them with the stratagem just to do D3 mortal wounds. Yeah, that's great.
And don't they also wound as well?
Yes, exactly. So they, when they hit 6s, they're also wounding. So with a base of 9, you're pouring out 36 attacks. That does do things. That hurts Laws of Change.
It does hurt Laws of Change, I can tell you.
So that's kind of the basis and core of the list. So then I had to think, well, what can I move out from there? I don't particularly have a high rate of fire, so I've taken 10 Tesla Immortals. The Tesla's nice, although obviously we don't get to explode on 4s or 5s anymore, but they are there. They can help clear a bit of a horde. They're toughness 5 bodies as well. Yeah. And you can choose to sit them at the back, or you can try and be a bit more aggressive with them. I mentioned the characters previously. I've gone for just 3 characters today. I've gone for 2 Chronomancers, so that means I can give a 5-up invuln to a warrior unit, and then a 5-up invuln to the Scarabs, or maybe both Scarabs, or something like that. Just whoever I'm putting in the firing line. I think it can be quite an easy mistake to just launch everything forward and get those Scarabs out there, but actually they only are a nuisance to deal with when you've got that 5-up invuln on them.
Yeah, they do die. I mean, don't get me wrong, but with that 5-up invuln,
it's just a nuisance. When you're ignoring 1 in 3 and you've got 4 wounds a base, compared to a 6-up with no invuln, it's a very big difference. So I think that's quite a nice solid base. So I've got 2 Chronomancers to help buff those things, and then I've got an Overlord who I am spending 2 CP to make a fair on, so I get to my will be done twice. So that just means I can consistently add that to the the warriors and the immortals as well. So I'm getting a bit more regular firepower from that. As I said, I've got Ghost Stark to go with those 10 warriors, so that's also quite nice because if you thrust it up there into rapid fire range, that's 20 strength 4 minus 1 shots. Nothing to be kind of sniffed at. So then I had that base. I had to think, well, how can I kind of push out and maybe play objectives a bit better still? So I've actually added 2 Crypto Thralls in. I genuinely think in the future I'd probably take 2 lots of those. 40 points for 2 models that can just drop into a corner, get an engage on all fronts, or line breaker, or deploy scramblers or anything like that. It's just great utility.
Yes.
And I think more and more as I play these missions, it's really important to have that utility in your list to be able to deal with the mission as well. And then I had a few 100 points left. I had to think, well, you know, let's try and make this a bit more well-rounded. So I've gone for Chariot Stalker with Heat Ray. It gives you the access to reroll once to hit, once you've targeted something, which is always nice. Does some stuff in close combat with 4 attacks, wounding on 3s. 4 attacks with damage 3.
Yes, big difference.
Yeah, it's quite a big difference, yeah. And then I've gone for 2 Doom Stalkers. They're not quite as good as Doomsday.
You're not convinced, are you?
No, they're not as good as Doomsday Arcs. They are cheaper.
They don't degrade.
They don't degrade, no. Their thing is, they don't degrade and they are cheaper. They're not as resilient. I think if you are planning on taking them to any sort of tournament or competitive game, you would take 3 and then you would take a Technomancer with a Canoptic Node, and that means that gives you +1 to hit.
Yeah, that's massive.
So these guys will be 4s, maybe re-rolling 1s if the Chariot Stalker's kind of done his thing. We shall see. I've had mixed success with them in previous games, and I'm not entirely sold on D6 shots going into a bunch of 3 and 4 up invuln saves, especially when it's reducing damage. But hey, today could be the day that you see
could go big.
It could go big, or it could do absolutely nothing like it did last time we played.
Yes.
So we shall see. So, I've turned up to the table today and I'm of course playing Lee's Tzeentch Force. The big focus is those 3 big birds. They're really interesting because they're not that expensive, they're very resilient, they put out a lot of spells, they do a bit of damage in combat. Obviously you've got heavy weighting on them. I mean, what, like 700 points?
Yeah, I think they're 270, 280 depending on the loadout. So it does that.
That's a big amount of his army. They are going to be hard to deal with though. They don't hold objectives, so that is going to be a thing for me. So I've got to be aware of them. I've got to make a decision. Do I try and deal with them, or do I ignore them, or do I try and deal with just 1, maybe 2? That might depend on the sorts of secondaries Lee chooses, but that's something I need to be aware of. On top of that, he's got a lot of firepower. Now the pink horrors I'm not too worried about. Flickering flames obviously does cause a bit of an issue, but overall pinks, they're just a lot of 4 up invuln bodies to be a nuisance. It's the rubrics I'm really worried about. You've got -2 AP,
-2 AP,
double shooting if they don't move. They're one of the few things in the game which can just straight up wipe out my 5 up invuln Necron warrior blob, and that's a big concern. They can also teleport around.
Yeah, so the way I'm running them as Cult Publicity, I've also taken the Dark Matter Crystal as well, because I just love that maneuverability.
Yeah, so those are the things I'm worried about. So going into this matchup, I've got a bit of an advantage in terms of all being OBSEC, but Lee does have the ability to deal with my models quite easily, and I don't necessarily have the right tools to deal with some of his things. I don't have a close combat threat really either. So it's a really interesting matchup. I think I have to play the mission really well, and I think I have to go and hide and not be too aggressive. I need to play the waiting game and try and lure Lee out. So going into the game, that's going to be my plan. I'm not just going to thrust everything forward and say deal with me, because he will just deal with me. Some matchups they won't be able to deal with this list. So yeah, that's the game plan. But let's hear a bit more in detail about Lee's list next.
Alright guys, so the core of my list then, you've probably seen in the pictures already, but it is those 3 Laws of Change. Now these are really, really cool models.
They're beautiful, yeah.
They're beautiful. Chris is saying that because one of them is his.
Well, there's one which is the best one.
You can leave in the comments which you think that is. But the core of the list is built around them. They are quite durable for what they cost. They're between 270 and 280 points each, depending on how you get them out. And they've got a couple of spells each as well. They're not slouches in combat. And they're also quite quick. So they are the core of what I've tried to build around, predominantly because they are durable. And they're quite quick as well. But they don't hold objectives and they don't really play the mission. So I've had to sort of bolster the rest of the list with quite a lot of bodies because that's almost half of my list in terms of points. So I did need to have something to fill the gaps and take those objectives. And it just made sense to start with some demons.
So you went for 10,000 brimstones?
No, so funnily enough, I don't actually own that many brimstones, firstly. But also I actually don't feel like brimstones give you that much value anymore compared to what they used to, certainly back in the day. So predominantly I've taken pink horrors. I've actually got 50 in this list. So that's 50 4-up Invon bodies.
At least they're not 3-up Invon.
At least they're not 3-up Invon. I missed that on the Warp Surge.
Yeah.
But they're great. They put out, while they're above 20 man units, they put out 3 shots each, which means they're great at clearing chaff. I mean, there's not much chaff in Chris's list today, but they're still good, especially if you can give them +1 to wound with psychic powers.
Yep.
I've taken some brims. I don't think they're the best value for points anymore, but they are still a squad of 10 bodies for 50 points that can just sit and hold.
Yeah, I think that's it. They just sit at the back.
They really don't do anything. In fact, if they try and do anything, they often kill themselves. So you just don't bother. But no, so I wanted some bodies. But I'm very conscious, having played demons quite a few times, how flimsy they are. So I just wanted a bit more of a sturdy set of infantry as well. So I've actually taken a patrol of Thousand Sons as well. Yeah, so so I've got a Demon Prince. They're always good. Another Psyker, and really good. They actually give reroll 1s to both Thousand Sons and Tzeentch units.
Yeah.
And that's good because the pink horror is set on 4s, and then it just makes them a little bit more effective. And it works with Rubric Marines as well. So I've taken 2 squads of Rubric Marines, one squad of 10 and one squad of 15. I've experimented with smaller squads, but I find that they melt quite quickly to actually do anything of value. I'm running them as Cult of Duplicity so they can jump around the board as they need to. That is really not helpsul in a game where you're trying to hold objectives. And it's funny because there is an army that are actually really slow. Their base move is only 5. Yeah. So all of a sudden it's relevant if you can get those powers off. And I'm lucky in this game that you don't have any deniability anyway.
No, absolutely no. I can't wait to just sit there as you make all your psychic powers.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really fun.
And then with always one eye on the missions itself and how to score points, I guess I'm always designing my list to try and score some secondaries. And quite similar to Chris actually, I think he probably stole the idea from me, is that I've got 2 Chaos Spawn in my list as well. Just 2 squads of 1 that can then be put in reserves, come in, and then they are useful. So they're not infantry, so they can't do things like Deploy Scramblers, but they can score you behind enemy lines, or they can score you engaged on fronts. And also they're tough 5, 4 wounds. I mean, they're not slouches in combat if you can get them in. They do kind of have to be dealt with. If you've got a little character holding an objective at the back, particularly one without an invuln, they will probably get through it.
Yeah.
So that is everything in my list, guys. Like I say, I've got one eye on the mission, one eye on Chris's list at the moment. It will come down to what we choose for secondaries. So obviously looking at Chris's list, there are a number of ways I think he's mentioned that my list does have some favourable interactions. I think that we can't overstate the fact that the amount of mortal wounds the list can do is quite powerful.
Especially because I can't reanimate from them.
Precisely. So in against all my shooting in combat, you'll be able to reanimate against those. But for any models lost to mortal wounds, they just get
they just die.
They just get wiped out of existence. So the challenge for me really is the obsec and the pre-game move. So quite quickly I could become overwhelmed on the board, and what I don't want is all of my big useful things getting charged by loads of scarabs, which is probably going to be the plan. And that's especially important now because you can no longer fall back and cast psychic power. So it never really used to be an issue for me if my Demon Prince or whatever got tagged in combat, because either would finish off what he was getting through, but as we mentioned, those scarabs with the 5 invuln, 4 wounds each, even a Demon Prince isn't getting through that. And then to not be able to fall back and cast powers is kind of annoying.
It removes some of their utility, doesn't it?
It does, exactly. Especially if you are looking to focus on getting points through actions. All of a sudden you can't do those.
Points mean prizes.
So there's a lot of bodies to get through in the list. They are not easy to get through. I think that some of my inventory can do it. It's more about who's going to be able to hold the objectives.
And there are 6 of them.
There are 6 of them, and there's a lot of... Chris's list is very designed around like variables, so there's lots of d6 damage, lots of d6 shots. So it's going to come down to whether or not my 3-up invuln, 4-up invulns can actually hold it off. Yeah. If you roll well. I
always roll well, Lee, so that won't be a problem.
Yeah. And the last thing I want to mention, guys, is the Lords of Change. They're all exalted. So Engine War did quite a lot for Greater Demons generally. Lord of Changes probably as much as any, if not the most. So what I've done is I think that when I look at the exalted traits, I think one of them is clearly superior to all the others, which is the Aura of Mutability. So that is the one that gives you a 6-up, sort of ignoring wounds, and then at the end of that attacking sequence, you regain a wound for every one that you lost. Yeah. So if you're only getting peppered with small shots, you can actually just survive the whole time, which is great. So anything to boost a Greater Demon's survivability is really, really good. So I've chosen that on one of my Lords of Change. Now, because of the demonic jealousy rule, you can only actually choose a trait once. Mm-hmm. So what I've done on my other 2 is I've just rolled for it. There's a risk around that, because you might get things that can be completely useless, but most of them are generally good. Yeah. So in this game I rolled for it, and let me tell you, so I got Spell Thief on one of them. That's completely useless in this game because Chris has no psychics.
Can't steal any spells, guys.
No. But then I also got the Nexus of Fate, which is one that allows me to regain command points.
It's quite handy.
So I mean, I didn't lose anything.
How many command points are you starting with?
I'm starting with 4.
4.
So it's not
right,
many.
So, yeah.
So by the end of the game, hopefully, I mean, there are not that many good stratagems anyway.
No, yeah.
So that's on one of them, and then the other one, guess what? Spell Thief again. Completely useless. I've got 2 now with Spell Thief that can't do anything in this game.
A shame.
In some games, that would be incredible.
Yeah.
So Grey Knights, yeah, exactly. They're just suddenly not able to do anything. But then I also gained the one that allows me to do an extra mortal wound whenever I inflict a mortal wound. So Smite's suddenly doing D3 plus 1 mortal wounds. Infernal Gateways potentially doing D6 plus 1 to every unit within 3.
I'll talk about that possibility.
We'll see what happens there. So that is the list, guys. That is the important parts, and how we're going to try and psychic Chris off the board, hopefully.
Yeah. Right. Well, we've spoken a bit about the mission. Let's have a closer look. So, today's mission is Surround and Destroy. We have got 6 objectives on the battlefield, and you're going to score 5 points for holding 1, 5 points for holding 2, and then 5 points for holding more than, so it's a take and hold. Mm-hmm. It should be a really interesting matchup in that regard. But of course we need the secondaries, and that's where all the good stuff happens. So Lee, what have you gone for today?
Chris, I've gone for Engage on Fronts.
Of course.
So as being a Demons player, typically have a lot of bodies, typically reasonably quick. So it just makes sense to try and be getting that.
Yep. Don't forget the spawn as well.
Don't forget the spawn.
Oh, what about the spawn? Yep.
I'm taking Mental Interrogation. Now, I typically hate the action-based secondaries because I think they take away too much. Mm. However, I do have 3 Lords of Change in this list, and what I have really is a redundancy of powers.
Exactly.
Being the sort of god of trickery and the warp and psychic powers, the Tzeentch powers are not good.
Yeah, why would they be?
So why would they be? So I really do have the ability to do that, and because it goes off on a 4 and you can't deny it, and I get +2 to my cast, it's kind of 3 points every single turn for that. It means they can't do some other things, but they can't shoot anyway.
It makes me make a decision on whether I want to try and use my characters for their buffs, or do I want to just try and hide them away. Do you need line of sight?
Don't need line of sight. Don't even have to target one. They
no,
just
why
have to
would
be
you?
Within 18 inches.
Yeah, of course it makes perfect sense.
Which is an important tactical note. So if you're not targeting a character with them, if you have a strat that says, if when targeted you can deny this on a 4-up or whatever, you can't actually use that.
Custodians have one. Necrons do have one, but it's a dynasty specific one, so that's not happening today.
No. And then, so my last one is While We Stand We Fight. There wasn't a huge amount of other ones that really took my fancy, basically. And the Lords of Change, as I mentioned, can be quite hard to kill. You could have, had I decided to, once I had rolled my exalted traits, if I had then gotten the Aura of Mutability or the more than -1 to hit, I would feel a lot more confident in being able to achieve that.
Yeah.
But what it does do, at least now, is force you to put all of your, if you want to stop me scoring those points, all of those shooting or whatever into those guys, which hopefully leads me to score points in the primaries and elsewhere.
Sneaky.
Yes. How about you?
Well, it wasn't easy. So I generally always try and go for, with this sort of list, Engage on all fronts. But there's a Necron one, which is a bit more interesting, and it is very much dependent on the mission you're playing. But it's Treasure of the Aeons, and what that enables me to do is make you pick 3 objectives, and then I get 2 points if I hold one of those, 3 points if I hold 2 of them, and then 5 points at the end of my turn if I hold all 3. I've got a lot of OBSEC. Because of the way the map is deployed, Lee will obviously pick the 2 in his deployment zone, but then has to pick a middle
one in the middle, yeah.
And then that means that he has to kind of focus on that to stop me from getting it. It was either that or engage in all fronts, so I've been a bit risky.
Yeah. It's got a higher payout.
It's got a higher
also slightly high risk.
Exactly. So we shall see. I think probably if I was in a tournament, I would be tempted just to go for the engage all fronts, because then I'm fully in control of it. Yes. I can do what I like. I am now playing slightly into Lee's hand here, but I want to try and score those points because it's already quite a tough matchup, and I need to try and make Lee make those mistakes anyway and force it. So what else have I gone for? Deploy Scramblers. I always go for
channel favourite.
It's a channel favourite. It doesn't necessarily always work out, but I'm going to refocus on trying to make that go down. And then the final one, horrible. I've had to go for While We Stand, We Fight. I really didn't know what to choose. So my Ghost Ark is my most expensive model,
which is crazy, isn't it?
And then I've got the 2 Doomstalkers. They are 140, as is the Triad Stalker. So I'm going to go for the 2 Doomstalkers as well at the back. The Triad Stalker can kind of go up the front and do a bit of combat-y stuff, and his gun is only 24 or 12 in the other mode. So he realistically wants to be
him moving with the others you want still, don't
exactly, because obviously the Doomstalkers get a lot worse when they start moving. So they will be sat at the back, and I will try and keep them alive for 5 turns if possible. It's not ideal, guys, not going to lie.
It does change my approach though, because ideally I would like to just ignore them for the entire
game. They don't do anything to you,
They don't
really.
do anything. They haven't before anyway.
No, so I mean we could be wrong. And
we could go huge.
Well, they could go huge, and after turn 1, when one bird is a smoking corpse on the field, we might be saying, but it's unlikely. So I'm not very happy with my secondary choices, to be honest. But having looked through the list, there isn't too many great options, and I think already it means I'm starting to think a bit more about my list in terms of, in some matchups, do I have a very, very safe 3 choices, which is obviously the goal, because I'm building a list designed not to kill but to play the mission well, and so that's already making me think about that sort of thing. But we'll see how it goes. I could be completely wrong. It's happened many times in the past. So let's now have a look at deployment.
Yeah, let's do it.
So deployment is done. Lee, what is the plan?
Well, I was lucky enough to win the roll-off to determine who got to choose the sides, and therefore was the one who deployed the first unit. I chose to be the defender on this side. We tried to make the board symmetrical, to be fair, or roughly symmetrical. Chose this side, and my plan really is to... It's hard, and I think that Chris's custom agility is great, because obviously you get that pre-game move, so trying to work out how far back I need to be so that I can't get tagged by those annoying scarabs turn 1, to come back a little bit more than I'd like to have been. Had to make sure I'm within range with one of my Lord Saints of a character, so I can get the initial mental interrogation. And then I've deployed all my bigger units and my rubrics here and here, kind of far back, because I know I have the ability to move them around the board, either with the psychic power or with the dark matter crystal. I've tried to deploy this Lord of Change here outside of line of sight from using the obscuring terrain, so you can't sort of see through there. And then the plan was to have this one through there as well. However, I had so many fewer units than Chris that I didn't know where his big stuff was going to be by then. So I don't imagine, apart from maybe 1 or 2 units, this one's going to get any benefit from that. And then lastly, similar kind of thing on this side, the only other big piece of terrain back here for the final Lord of Change, and then just little bits of troops scattered around along the objectives, just to make sure that it doesn't really matter so much for turn 1, because of you don't score primaries in the turn, but it's still nice to sort of know where you're going to be and to use those to screen off your characters, which is what I'm trying to do.
Lovely. So, in terms of the Necrons, obviously I've got a lot of stuff. I've kind of edged a bit more towards this side, but I've also got an equal spread here. So the Immortals and the Ghost Dark and what's in there are kind of on this flank. We've got the Scarabs in the middle, ready to rush off wherever they see fit, with the Chronomancers being able to do their thing. And then over here I've kind of got the firepower here, simply so they could see those kind of two guys over there. They're the 4-up-in-1 ones. If I can make the Warp Surge on one or whatever, and then shoot into the other one, that's kind of the plan. I'll have reasonable access into both of these objectives through my Scarabs. Lee chose Treasure of Aeons, chose obviously his back two for these objectives that I'm trying to get to, and this one. But obviously my Scarabs move so fast I can quite easily transfer the weight there, so it's hopefully not too much of an issue. You will see that we have got some beautiful objectives here. So the see-through ones are from the Honest Wargamer, and the centre points we have got from Wargame Accessories. And that is John. I'll put the link on the Facebook page. He does an amazing job. He also does, I'm just going to show you in front of the camera, these beautiful things, these wound dials. He does all different sorts, really high quality. So thank you very much, John, for that. And yeah, check him out. I'll put the link in the description below. I have chosen my command protocols, so I can't wait to get those over the course of the game. Is there anything else I need to say, Lee?
I think it's just to see
just
who goes first.
Turn roll off. Right. Okay. Here we go.
Live on camera. How exciting!
Live on camera, filmed weeks ago. So, go on. You're the guest. You roll first.
We're at a 5. That's pretty respectable.
That's pretty solid. Not as good as my 6.
It's a 1.
That'd be a 1. Okay, Lee. First or second turn?
First turn.
But you did 2 fingers, so it's the second.
It's number 1 twice.
Oh, okay. Right. Well, let's see what he can conjure up. No? Oh, okay. So I have done my pre-game move. So basically it involved tucking up the Immortals on there. These Scarabs and guys moved up to there. These Scarabs kind of moved into that area here. The Doomstalkers got themselves a bit of a better view, and then these guys tucked up in there to be reasonably safe from shooting, apart from the fact that this had to stick out slightly. And then it was over to Lee for his movements. So sad.
Yeah, so movement phase, I didn't really do a huge amount. I guess I tried to go through my head and think about what do I need to achieve.
Yep.
Kind of limited in what I could do with how far back I deployed, and sort of conscious of that. So with my secondary objectives in mind, I was thinking I need to make sure I'm within range of a character, which I am for mental interrogation. Can I be in all 3 units of the board? All 3 quarters? Oh, sorry, all 4 quarters. Definitely not this turn.
No.
But that's something to keep an eye on for later. Potentially 3. I have sort of plans for that. So what I've done is generally moved in this blob up a little bit, but trying to keep on as many objectives as I can. The only thing I guess of note really is I already expended my once per game dark matter. We're still on these rubrics, and that's just as Chris said, unfortunately he couldn't get all of the guys hidden away.
Shoot.
And whilst they don't have that invuln, it's a good chance to try and get rid of them. So kind of a movement to set up for later phases rather than like anything.
Absolutely, I think that's an important point, isn't it? You don't necessarily need to just rush off. If you can set up something so that turns 2, 3, 4, you have a play and you've already thought about that. Actually, that can be really useful when you can't do too much damage.
I mean, my list doesn't do a huge amount of damage.
No.
In fact, we have quite similar lists in that neither do a huge amount of damage. It's going to be a slugfest, but also probably a bit of a grind.
Yeah, and that's the best thing to watch. So
that's entertainment.
Yeah, that is pure entertainment. Cool. Well, talking of pure entertainment, it's the psychic phase.
Let's do that next. Yeah.
Okay, so the dreaded psychic phase is complete. We started off with over here this bird. He managed to kill the cheeky 3 with
just
smite.
a smite.
We had a mental interrogation going on. I realistically just can't stay out of it because of the deployment, so there's that. Lee, do you want to talk us through the other exciting things you've done?
Yeah, so let's start, I guess, from the side. So the rubrics here were able to cast Glamour of Tzeentch on themselves. That gives them a -1 to hit, which is always helpful.
Yep.
I've gone incredibly brave here.
Such an aggressive
So it's unlike me to be quite this aggressive, so it's fun. So basically what I've done is I've cast Weaver effects on my Demon Prince, so that gives him +1 to his inmon save, which means it's a natural 3-up inmon save, which is great. Then I was able to warp time him, which is what I've done just to put him as close as I can be without being in engagement range there, with the intention that if I can then charge one of these guys, potentially kill it. Firstly, that would stop Chris from getting 5 points at the end for whilst we stand we fight, but potentially consolidate into the other one as well, which means in an ideal world one of them will be destroyed and one will be tagged. I have to then concede that there's a lot of firepower that could then just kill the Demon Prince, but at the same time it does force Chris to turn around, and that's never really something you want to be doing in a game. So it's a bold move.
Bold strategy, Carlin.
It's a bold strategy, so that's going to be really interesting.
Speaking of bold,
the other thing I did was to teleport all of these rubrics. So being Cult Duplicity, they do get the Sorceress Facade Psychic Power, which effectively lets them redeploy anywhere outside of 9 inches, and you can do that in turn 1, so better than Strategic Reserves and better than in sort of the Deep Strike, because you have that turn 1 option. The plan there is to get rid of those Immortals, knowing that Chrysalis is very good at OBSEC, to get rid of as many troops as I can. So if I can get rid of those, I've already weakened them a little bit with the Smite. So a little bit of shooting, hopefully whittle them down to either an ineffective amount or nothing. I'm aware there's obviously a barge there with 20 shots coming my way in a minute, but I do have that 3-up save, so we'll see. We'll see. Other than that, then it's just going to be the shooting phase.
Great.
A 5 on mine bullets already.
Yeah. Cool. So we'll go to the shooting phase up next.
Okay, so the first thing that's going to shoot are these 10 Rubric Marines down into these warriors down here. So I've got 10 guys there, but one of them has a pistol, so it's one less shot than that.
You're going to veterans them?
I'm not going to veterans them because I want my other rubrics on the other side that's shooting at the, is it Immortals?
Yeah, toughness 5.
Because they're toughness 5, so the difference between 4s and 5s feels like a big deal.
Yep.
So yeah, I want to really clear. That's why I don't have a chance really of clearing this squad, but if I can get it right down. So let's see. So I'm hitting on 3s. Not rerolling those 1s, unfortunately, because my Demon Prince is too far away. And then we're on 4s.
4s to wind.
It's not looking good, actually. It's only 4. 4 at -2, but you are in cover.
Okay, so 4 at 5 ups, which I make 2 of. So 2 die. I'll just reanimate them now. No, so just 2 dead. Okay, so we've done a bit more shooting over there. The pinks killed some more. So I've lost like 8 so far, so that will be a morale check at the end, which is annoying. But now we're over here. This is the big stuff. Now, we've done the maths. That's 30 shots, 20 hit, 10 wound. I save half of them. I only lose 5 and release 2 left. That's the maths.
Let's see if it works. So I have spent 1 CP for Veterans of the Long War.
Yeah.
So we'll be hitting on 3s. And then wounding on 4s thanks to Veterans, because these Immortals are toughness 5. So we only got 9 actually. Just slightly under average. Normally at -2, of course.
But I'm in cover, so my threat becomes a 4-up. So I fail 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 2 left.
Just like you planned.
Just like I planned. Right, we have completed the charge phase, and of course the Demon Prince. Well, a hefty 10, which means he can get over to this side of the Doom Stalkers, which means I can't use the stratagem to heroically intervene with the Canoptic unit. And then these guys failed their charge. So,
just going to be the Demon Prince then?
Just the Demon Prince in the fight phase coming up next. Okay, so starting obviously with the end combat, which is the Demon Prince. I did get to Overwatch. I got one through after a reroll, but Lee made his 3-up save. I did CP the reroll the wound, because if Lee had failed his 3-up, just to get that D6 damage through
would make a big difference, yeah.
So not to worry. Let's see if it works.
Yeah, so it's 8 attacks thanks to Hateful Assault. I'm hitting on 2s, rerolling my 1s. So they do all hit, and I am strength 7, so I'll be winning on 3s. So it's 4 go through. I'm just thinking about spending a CP on another 1. which I think I will do live on camera. No. So 4 at -2, 2 damage each.
So 3 up save. So can I make any 5-ups? I can make 3 of them. So I take 2 damage.
I'm not so upset about that because the main thing really is that they can now only shoot at him with the 3-up invuln.
Yeah.
Because I will obviously in my turn at the end of that just
do a cheeky little tag.
Cheeky little tag.
Well, I mean, I don't mean to alarm you, Lee, but to fight back.
I wonder if there's any way I can tag all 3 of those units, but I don't think there is.
So that's going to be 6 attacks, sir.
This is when I found out they're actually beasts in combat.
Yeah, surprise! No, they're on 4s.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's not bad. Out of nowhere hitting on 4s, that's ridiculous.
You do get 3.
You do get 3. And 6s do 10 mortal wounds each. So
that's good. I enjoyed that.
Unfortunately not. They are strength 6.
So they'll be winning roundfuls.
So you've got 1. No AP. Come on.
It's a 3-up save.
Come on, be embarrassed.
No, Demon Prince loves it.
Couldn't even do that. Excellent. So that's all the fighting.
Yes.
These being noisy with dice, and we will go to the morale phase now.
Okay, so coming into the morale phase.
Yeah, so the Warriors lost 5. I completely lied earlier when I said I lost 8.
Wishful thinking for me.
Just don't roll a 6. That's okay. And then the Immortals have lost 7. So this is far more likely to fail.
But it doesn't.
They're fine. They are fine. So there's a smooth camera change over here. Oh, look at that pro filming. There's Lee's face. How do you think of tournament?
It was mixed. I think that points-wise, I set myself up nicely. I know that I will be getting a good amount this turn.
You're getting your full 3
I'm getting my full 3 from engage, which I honestly wasn't expecting. To tag those 2 guys is nice. I would hope to have done a little bit more damage. But really, I know that you need to, if you're going to stop me getting my maximum points for my while we stand with fight, I know that you need to be targeting those laws of change. So if you're not targeting them, you're targeting someone with 3-up invuln. That's not bad. Obviously, I did get my mental interrogation off as well. So can't ask for too much more. I'm currently sat on a nice spread of objectives. So yeah, we'll see what happens next.
Yes, not
reasonably happy.
Not great for the Necrons, to be honest. So I'm going to have a little think and work out how to have an equally effective first turn. Let's have a look at the scores. So Tzeentch make their mark on the scoreboard early with a nice 6 points for their secondaries. Of course, both players start on 10 for being battle ready. Tzeentch have managed to take over the board. They've caused a bit of early damage. Necrons are going to have to counter hard and quickly in order to try and take back the board. Let's see how they get on. Okay, so had to have a bit of a think really, and I've come up with a semblance of a plan. So if you look, you will see that I've kind of taken over the board now. I have made some deployments mistakes and I'm really annoyed at myself. Ghost Ark obviously should be near the 20-man blob of Warriors. Why? Because he gives them reanimation and you can spend a strat to get back D6. Just wasn't thinking. That's what happens when you don't play the army enough. This is only my third game with them. So you really want to be thinking about the more reps you get in, you'll start to learn the synergy. So that's just a little thing for you. So if you do run Ghost Arks, try and always keep them near your Warriors. Don't forget about their reanimation ability. My protocol for this round was I want to say Southern Storm maybe. It means that I can do an action and shoot at the same time. So that's what the mid-board Warriors are going to be doing. They're going to be shooting and also deploying Scramblers in the middle, because if you remember I've spoken about before, deploy Scramblers, try and do that in the middle of the board first turn. So yeah, that's going to happen. If we look over here, you can see I've got those guys out, I've got the Tesla, I've got that. We're just going to try and chip away there. This boat will charge into this gap, tag them, make him cast a power to draw them out in order to allow them to shoot again, because you know powers do sometimes fail, unless your name's Lee. Over here, these guys have just kind of been a bit of a screen, so there's no massive 9-inch gap for 30 pink horrors that Lee would like to bring down at some point. He's just moved up to the midfield. Over here, we've got a bit of action. This is my Treasure of Aeon's objective. So I'm making sure I'm holding it with a unit and a character. These scarabs are going to try and charge into Lord of Change. Madness, I know, but if they can get enough bases around there, then that'll give me another treasure. Especially if I just chop some brims up, so maybe I'll declare them as well, who knows. Over here, a bit of my will be done was done earlier, so the Locust heavy destroyers are hitting on 2s, as are these guys. Scarabs obviously moved up to take this kind of situation here. The goal is the Scarabs will charge into the pinks, hopefully get a big charge off, head off over towards that objective, pile in and consolidate onto that objective. Maybe if I can get 4 Scarab bases on there, then I'm already holding it. So we'll see if that works. And then the Warriors are going to fire using a couple of strats into the Thousand Sons over there, and then charge into this area of the pinks and be sitting pretty on that objective. In terms of 5-up invuns, these guys have got them, I think. Is that what I did?
I think it was the other Scarabs.
Yeah, I didn't give them the 5-up invun. You're absolutely right. So it's both Scarabs have got 5-up invuns. And obviously over here, if I fall back, they don't get to do anything. They've both got Obsec. They're both holding it. The Demon Prince is going to take 2 or 3 turns to chew him up. If he falls back, he doesn't get to do anything else. So I guess that's just a bit of a shoe off.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's the plan. If it all goes perfectly, then I think I might be back in it. It does require a few things to go my way, I think, but it does keep the game alive. So that is, of course, what we want this early in the game. So yeah, obviously it's the psychic phase up next, which does not happen. So let's go do some shooty shoot. So we've done a bit of shooting. All of this lot fired over there and killed. What did you start with? 15?
Yeah, so I think I've
8. So actually the Gorse flares were the thing that
they did really well.
They're the things that did really well for their strength 5 -2. Tesla did like 1 because there's no AP, so on a 2-up, and he killed 2 or 3. So they're thinned down. They're charging and tag them, but they're kind of a spent force to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
Then we came over here, and of course they were going to fire into Demon Prince, and then I had a quick check of my rules. They're blast, and we don't get to fire blast. So instead of the almighty weapon going in, this is just going to be 8 rapid fire shots.
It's not quite the same, is it?
On 5s.
I mean, it could go huge.
It could go huge, and you're about to see it go huge.
Demon Prince has 8 wounds, so you could just do it.
It could happen.
Shall we?
Another reason why Doomstalkers is rubbish. Don't buy any. That's my assessment so far. So, cool. So I've hit none of the times. So we'll just stop filming there and then go do something else more worthwhile. So we're now going to do the Stalker. I thought about what to do. Actually, because Lee's unit of Thousand Son Rubric Marines over there are -1 to hit, I quite like his rerolls aura. So he's just going to fire his big gun, big version of his heat ray, his focused beam, into them so that he can hopefully hit. So he's got 2 shots hitting on 4s.
So all you have to do is score a hit.
All I have to do is score a hit. So I just need a 4 out of one of these. Excellent. So both hit, and then we are strength 8. So wounding on 2s. 2 wounds minus 4 d6 damage.
So I do have my 5 involved save. I do make 1 of them.
Yep, so
1 is killed.
Dies, and now that does give me rerolls because my Warriors are about to go and go a few CP and hopefully some rubrics away. Okay, we have done a lot of shooting. These guys have spent stratagems, 2 CP to enable me to have exploding 6s and auto wounding on 6s. After all the dust settled, the first half did 13 wounds. And the second half did 5. So we've got 18 saves here, -1 AP, but 1 damage, so Lee gets a 3-up save.
Here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 go down.
Whoa.
That leaves not many left. I think 3 left.
Right, so I did do a couple of my characters trying to finish off the rubrics or do a bit more. The Voltaic Staff, which is a relic I've chosen, did absolutely nothing, as did the Entropic Lance from the Chronomancer. So a little bit of shooting here. We've got another Entropic Lance, and we've got the 2 Locust Heavy Destroyers, and they're going to shoot to Big Bird in the middle of the table. So they were my will be done, so this will be 2s rerolling 1s.
2 hits.
Solid. I'll spend 1 CP to auto wound with one.
Very nice.
Then I'm wounding on 3s with the other one, which goes. So you've got 2, 3 up in one.
3 up in normal saves. Here we go. He makes them both.
That was fun. And then we'll just do the entropic lance shot. Hits, wounds. That's a fail.
So how much damage is that, Christopher?
That is 3 plus D3.
So I am going to spend the CP, I think, to reroll that one. And turns it into a 6.
Okay, well that's fun. Okay, cool. So the shooting phase didn't really do much apart from thin some rubrics. So
which is good.
It's always
big
good.
threats
Yeah, that's true. They are big threats. So we'll now go into the charge phase. Okay. Ghost Ark over in the far corner did charge into the rubrics just to block them off. It's probably now going to become a bit of a stalemate. Actually mentioned out in the Lord of Change can't fly over that pipe, so it's a bit interesting. Over here is of course the interesting part of the charge phase that I've still not decided what I'm doing with the scarabs on the objective over there. So we're going to see what we roll with this. Now I need a massive great charge to do my plan, it turns out, because obviously I need to try and get more than 3 bases on there for OBSEC. So we'll see. I'm just going to roll a 12 and then it'll be fun.
There's no issue
So
then.
when tactics and planning and skill fails,
just roll better.
Better to be lucky than good. So here we go. That's an 8. That's such an awkward number.
Yeah, because you could re-roll. It's not enough, but if you re-roll it, you could do worse. But then to be said, if you do worse, it's no better than getting an 8, so you might as well re-roll it.
I know. I'm just thinking that I've got other charges that I definitely do want to make. So you know what? I think I'm going to take that, and I'm going to move them and see if I can get what I want, and we'll find out. So last time you left us, we had an 8-inch charge, and we made it into here. It's going to take a lot of attacks and leaf failing, a lot of stuff, and I'm not entirely. I don't think I can make it across, unfortunately, because you can see how I've done. But that's my move, so we'll see what I get from my pile-in, I guess. These guys, I was talking about what should I do with them. Obviously, actually, I can't do anything because their command protocol enables them to do an action and shoot, but they can't do an action, shoot, and charge. So they're just sat there, loving life, not on the objective. So yeah, again, we're seeing more examples of why it's important to keep playing the army. But I know that next time I use this sort of army, I will remember these rules because of the mistakes I made. So we always learn from our mistakes. We did try an 8-inch charge over there, but we failed, and fair enough, Lee can now drop down stuff and try and shoot through the 5-up invuln. So yeah, I think that's kind of it. We did do the Ghost Ark over there. I don't know, I can't remember. The battery died on the camera, so I can't remember.
Guessing what we did.
I can't remember what I did. Yeah. So yeah, we're now going to move into the mighty Scarab combat phase.
Let's do some pile-ins.
Scarab phase has happened. Well, we've done hits and wounds, and we've got through 19 wounds.
Yeah,
the Scarabs have gone huge.
Quite impressive.
Oh, these ones.
I did roll my Locust for trickery. Once again, it failed to do anything as it ever does. But I do have my 4-up saves to make. So hopefully, only sort of 9 or so will die. But let's see. Let's count the dead, because that's basically all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 die. So went way over on the attacks and wounds, and way under on the saves. So yeah, I do lose 12.
Scarab Swarm! Love it.
Take it away.
So that's definitely a force morale. So
yes.
Hopefully he doesn't roll a 1. And then we will do the exciting Ghost Ark versus Rubric fight off camera, and then we will let you know how the morale phase went next. So we've done the rest of the combat. 2 wounds came off over here. The Ghost Ark over there has lost a few wounds, I think 3 or something. Here the Demon Prince has not sharpened his talons.
No, he's hitting, but they're just not going through, are they?
So he's mostly 4 wounds to 1, so we've got an everlasting thing going on there. Interesting turn. Before I talk about it though, we've got some morale, which might change everything.
It could change everything. So these rubrics, they lost 7.
Okay, and
so
it's
8.
So you
unless I roll a 1
to auto pass.
No, so 1 will run.
So 1 runs.
And for the remaining 2,
1s and 2s will run away.
So I'm down to 1.
1 rubric left.
The other squad over there, they have got how many left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So lost 8.
So they auto fail.
Oh no, apart from that, you've rolled a 1, so that's your cost.
Okay, well I wasn't expecting that.
I'll use a rude word here.
Then the pinks, so they lost 12.
They auto fail, basically.
They do auto fail.
One.
Which I
No,
don't. So one will run away immediately.
Yeah.
So let's go for that one. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I lose another 2.
Okay. So we'll do that. Whilst Lee does that, I think my turn has gone okay. I have managed to take over the board. Lee was saying off camera he feels a lot more kind of like hemmed in now. As you can see, I have got all of my backfield and the middle of the board. I've managed to take out a lot of the shooting firepower. Lee obviously has 30 horrors to come down. If I'm able to withstand that shooting, and then it's basically up to Lee's Lords of Change to not die and start scoring him.
They don't have a huge amount of outputs. That's going to be quite
so
tough.
it's this really interesting game. Let's take a look at the scores. The Necrons have actually made quite a strong counter-attack. They have pushed up to take the midfield. They've also dealt with the rubrics, who were identified as being a threat due to all their shooting. The scores haven't been that great this turn, but they're hoping to build that over the time. It will now be up to Tzeentch to see if their pinks coming in can make a bit of an impact. Unfortunately, the bit where Lee talks about his movement phase didn't record for some reason, so I'm afraid you have to put up with me explaining and talking through his plan. So as you can see, this was the end of the Necron turn. Necrons have kind of taken up the whole board there. It's up to the Tzeentch to try and work out how to start clearing the midfield. Lee's plan was kind of centered around the pink horrors. You can see they've deep struck in the kind of the top left hand corner, and they're going to charge into those scarabs which are sitting on the objective. The birds on the right hand side have moved up to try and take out some of those scarabs. He's got a lone rubric warrior on the right hand side ready to do his thing. Demon Prince has stayed where he is, and then on the left flank everything has kind of stayed the same with the big bird moving up. Psychic phase is over here. What's happened?
So not a huge amount. It was quite a lot of smites.
Yep.
I guess the key one is I got Weaver Effects back on the Demon Prince, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
This guy down here did a smite but failed. The guy down here did a bolt of change and a smite. They both went off, just did some more wounds to the warriors and then the scarabs. The guy here did his mental interrogation again, which is fine. In fact, the pinks did a smite on their 1d6, so they went first and rolled a 5.
They were cheeky, weren't they?
So that was nice. And then the guy over there, so the rubrics did a smite as well. They actually rolled a 12, which means two things. I guess firstly they're perils, and secondly that then it does D3 more wounds rather than 1, because they normally get the basic diet smite.
Yeah.
There's a new stratagem from Engine War that I've used for 1 CP to just not suffer perils of the warp.
Just like that.
Which just meant that you took 2 more wounds on the barge over there, which is not nothing.
Indeed, yes.
And then lastly, the Lord of Change here did Gaze of Fate, which is the free reroll, which I really like. And then Flickering Flames onto the pink horrors, and that's the big one because that gives them +1 to wounds. So 90 shots coming in a minute. At +1 to wound is very nice.
Right. Yeah, so talking of the shooting phase, let's go and do that bad boy. Okay, shooting phase is over. We didn't roll for it on camera because it's unbelievably boring. The standout performance was this guy.
Yeah, he killed, was it 3 warriors with his Warflame pistol?
Then these guys, 90 shots. We worked out about 5 days bases with Divo. Approximately Lee killed 6. I brought back 2, so there are 4 bases out of the 9 remaining.
That's it for shooting. So it's just charges now.
Yes, cool. So charge phase up next. So we've had our charges done. As you can see, there's a horde of pinks. They, after a CP reroll, made it into the heavy destroyers. The Lord of Change is in over there. These guys came in. His interesting one, his charge was actually halved, and he rolled a 2, so he only had a 1-inch charge.
Yeah.
He was only like 1 point something away. This guy's been a bit of a hero. He's already killed 3 warriors with his flamer pistol. He's now withstood 6 hits from Overwatch, and he's probably now going to go kill some more warriors. So he's been in right pain. He's earning his points
for sure.
So Lee is obviously now going to kick off the fight phase, so we will come to that next. So we have now finished the fight phase. We haven't filmed it because it's just a lot of smatterings of little deaths and it's not particularly interesting, so we're saving you the pain.
It's painful to do.
It's painful to do, so you'll see that finally that rubric is dead, but not before he managed to kill a couple more warriors, and then I was able to consolidate over onto the objective. The Scarabs managed to do 4 wounds, just 3 Scarab bases did 4 wounds because Lee failed all of his saves. And then I've lost 5 Scarabs there. They only killed 1 pink, I think. This Demon Prince did manage to finally take down one of the Doomstalkers. I think I'm probably going to have to fall back over there and let some other stuff shoot and try and kill him. But we shall see. Over here, the Pinks did absolutely nothing, but I did 1 wound. And you can see overall I have lost some more Scarab bases, and that Ghost Stark in the corner is now only got 5 wounds left, so he's chipping away.
Yeah.
He's winning the attrition battle at the moment, which is not fair because that's how Necrons play. But we have some all important morale.
Yes. Do you want me to go first?
Go for it.
So I've got 2 sets of morale to take, so I lost 1 pink corner here.
Yeah.
And 4 over here.
So you're currently leadership 10.
I'm leadership 10 because Lords of Change have a leadership aura, which is, so I can't actually fail them up, but I do want to roll it just in case my Reality Blinks roll works. So on a 6, this one will help. No, a 5 close, and on the other one,
You want a 1, don't you?
a 1. Sorry, it is a 1,
Yeah.
and so it does.
They get
D6
D6 back.
for 6.
Of course it would be, Lee. Why wouldn't it be?
I don't think I can have 6 back, so I only lost 4. I don't think I can go above 6, but I am going to check.
Yeah. Okay, well, I basically I fail all my morales on a 6. So these warriors here, I fail on a 6. Rolled off the table, Lee. So they're fine. The Scarab unit just here on a 6. I roll a 1. That means I get Scarabs back. No, I wish. And then over there on a 6, a 3. So we're fine. We're not running away. You're bringing more models back.
The game's going to go on forever.
Yeah. So yeah, how do you think your turn went?
It was a hard turn because I felt like you did really well to block me off from getting to things I wanted to get to.
Yeah.
It was nice to finally get rid of the War of the Worlds model.
The Doomstalker.
That's the one. But other than that, I felt like I was bashing into Scarab bases, and I guess that's the entire point of the list is they absorb most of the hits.
Yeah.
But they do have to be dealt with because they're OBSEC, so they're hard to get rid of.
Absolutely. Well, you've done a good job of thinning a lot of my stuff. I had a big board presence.
Yeah, it has been diminished. So I just need to do that again probably, but I'm just worried I may have left it too late.
Yeah.
Points wise though, I guess.
We've still got 15 points you're going to get into the battle, and I've now only scoring 10 from that, so and I suspect I'll probably be scoring 0 at this rate. So that could be a big swing, but yeah. Lee's building up a nice little lead before we go into my turn too, so let's take a look at the scores. The Necron army had actually managed to put a lot of pressure on the mid-board, but Tzeentch have hit back well. They have pushed up. The Pinks making that charge has been a huge deal because they're now obviously contesting the Treasure of Aeon's objective, and they've got 30 4-up invulnerable saves on there. Furthermore, the Demon Prince is now looking like he's not going anywhere anytime soon, and all that combines to the fact that this is probably make or break turn for the Necrons. Can they push back hard enough? Let's find out. Right, so I have done my movement phase. Loads of very tricky decisions. I have literally no idea what the right plan of action is, but I'm just going to talk through it. So this Demon Prince does need to die now, so I have pulled back some stuff. So he's fallen back. He's going to be able to shoot and charge. He can fit his flamer in there because it's a 12-inch flamer. It's just in range. And then he can charge in and try and take that out. I'm trying to just hold that objective but also deal with that. So we'll see how that goes. Obviously the big thing at the moment is Lee has completely swamped that objective, which isn't ideal. So the Scarabs with a 5-up invuln just here have come across. They're going to be able to charge into the front. Over here we've got these guys who's going to put all their shots into them and hopefully nearly pretty much kill them. And then I have used my Dark Massacre, that's the wrong army. My Veil over here to put them into the back line, so they will be able to shoot rapid fire into these pinks and then try and charge a 9-inch charge into the brims. My remaining Scarab bases I did fall back, so these guys are still holding that objective, and they're over there with the goal that if they can't be dealt with, then they're just going to be a bit of a nuisance onto that objective. So it's bizarre that it feels like we're only on turn 2. Turn 2. If we've been playing, well, it's been quite a long day, but it just feels like the game already is reaching tipping point, even though it's only turn 2, which is a bit bizarre because there's still quite a while to go. We will see how that goes, and
let's do some shooting.
Right, we're in the shooting phase. We're going to got a treat for you. We're actually going to show you some dice rolling. So I have spent 2 CP, so I'm down to 1. And these guys going to have exploding 6s. And then over there, when they fire into the pink horrors, they are going to be auto wounding on 6s. So we're looking for 6s and we're hitting on 3s.
Couple of 6s in there.
So we've got 4 6s, wounding on 3s.
Yeah, times 4.
That's a very cool dice. Okay, so you have got 4, 8, 12 at -2. So it becomes -1 because you're
4 up to 8.
4 up to 8.
Looks pretty good to me. I lose 3.
Oh, God. Pulling out the bag.
That was a good roll at that point.
So you lose 3, so you've got 4 remaining. That's very annoying. And then we're going to go back over again. So 5, 10, 15, 20, so this time 6s are auto wounding onto the pinks with that squad over there, so only 3 auto wounds. I'm hitting on 2s because they were my will be done before they went across.
All of them darkness.
Yep.
And then 3
again. Okay, so that's pretty tasty. So you've got 3, 6, 9, 12,
12
15,
again.
16.
Ah, okay, so then we've got some more dice.
Got too exciting.
So now you can just come over here. Here we go.
So 16 4-pin ones.
Not bad again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 16 there.
Okay, I'm so happy about that, Lee.
Yeah.
Cool.
So 5 there and 3 rivets.
Yeah, cool. And so let's see what's next. That was very disappointing, so we're going to turn our attentions to hopefully less disappointment. He's going to fire off his voltaic staff, his relic, cheeky boy. So we have got 4 shots, and these are 6s. Give me 2 additional hits, Lee.
You didn't get any then. You didn't, so that's something.
That's something. Right, so that's 4 hits. Strength 6, so force to wound.
Get 1.
-2.
I've got my throw pin on still, so I'm just going to roll that. I'm not going to roll that. That's
2 damage.
2 damage, okay.
Lovely. And then we've got the Triac Stalker, and he's going to fire his 12-inch flamer over there. 2d6 shots.
Yeah, that
Come on the
good, that.
dice. Come on the dice. 6, that's not 6 something. So we're winning on 5s.
Just the 1.
Great, 1 and -1. Excellent.
I do make that one. That is a 6.
Lovely. That's fun for the whole family.
Anything else shooting at Mr. Demon Prince?
Let me do some measuring and see. Right, a bit more shooting off camera. He did nothing, as you saw. He did nothing, and then we just piled a couple of entropic lances. This guy over there did nothing, but he
went big. He did 6 wounds.
6 wounds. D3 plus 3. Rolled the 6 for it. Oh, and just like that Lord of Chains now only has got 4 wounds. So if I can chip away at some point,
that's how you do it.
Exciting. So we've got some charges. The only one we're going to really roll on camera is over here, where they need a 9 to get into the brimstones. And I've got 1 CP left, which I will use to re-roll the roll if I fail.
So let's do it.
Here we go. Come on, make a charge. Come on. That's a 6.
It's going to need the CP.
That's going to need the CP. Now this is what happened against Lee last time I played him. So come on.
I see a 2, which means it's already not enough. I can't see what that is. It's hidden. It's another 2.
So I've got worse again.
He's
Okay, well that's quite upsetting. I've lost all fun in this game. I hate Warhammer. Cool, we'll do the rest of the charges off camera. So that was really depressing. The Scourge managed to roll a 2 on their charge as well, and he barely made it in as well with a 6. So it's not been great.
It's been a bit
and then, as if we wanted to really rub salt in the wound, Lee, what did you do?
So I used my Tzeentch, I think it's called Locus of Trickery ability, which I always complain about doesn't do anything. But how it works, if you're within 6 inches of a character, you roll 2 dice, and then or either of those, you discard the highest, and whichever that is no longer hits. So for instance, if you roll a 5 and a 4, you discard the 5, and then 4s no longer hit you. In this case, I've rolled double 6s, which means firstly Chris's 6s can't hit me, but also, and most importantly, they can't auto wound, which he's been doing a lot of in this game. So he's not very happy about that.
No, I'm not Lee, not gonna lie.
It's the worst Legion trait in the game. I think it's about time it did something.
Yeah, that one moment. Cool, so we've got 36 hits.
Shots.
Attacks. 36 hits, I'm just calling it now.
Look at all those 6s that would have automatically wounded.
I hate you so much.
So it's just 4s and 5s that are hitting me now, I guess.
I just want to rub it in anymore.
I am trying as best I can for all the Tzeentch players out there that have been disappointed by this rule in the past.
There's so many 6s.
Would have been
oh my god!
Before.
No, this is just... That is insane. I mean...
You used one of my die and that didn't betray you, so that's something, right?
That is insane. I'm not happy, guys.
No.
Betrayed me that time. Wow, so
6.
after all of that, 6.
I'm just going to pick up 6 dice here and rub it live.
Absolutely appalling.
So we've got 1,
2,
3 fails.
After all of that.
All that. That was a lot of time for that, wasn't it?
That was a lot of time. Well, after that absolute embarrassment, we're now going to go over here. So we have got 4 attacks into Demon Prince, sitting on 2s.
They all hit.
Wounding on 4s.
2 of them wound.
2 at -2, so
the 2, 3 of them on saves.
I'll die.
It makes them both anyway.
Oh, of course it does.
Boxcar.
Excellent. Okay, and then we've got the Triad Stalker to do something with his 4 attacks. 6s don't hit, but they... great, yeah, cool. 2s to wound. 1 save on your pink horrors. Yeah, so
6.
Cool, let's just call it now, whatever, I'm done. Okay, well, Lee's now going to try and compound my misery of one of the worst fight phases in recent history by killing him. And I also, by wasting that CP on that 9-inch charge, I can't bring him back on a 4-up either. So I'm really excited right now.
So, can I...
Loving life.
2s rolling 1s. They all hit.
Of course do.
And then 3s to wound, presumably.
Yeah.
So I drop 3 of them, but that still means you've got 5 at -2 to damage each.
You've given me nothing this turn, Dice God, so give me something.
That's not enough, Chris. So that is the end of the turn. So we had a bit of fighting back with the pink horrors. I think I did 2 or 3 wounds, a scarab base, and nothing else really. I did morale, rubrics passed and pink horrors passed thanks to the list 10 of the Lord of Change there. All in all then, what did you think of your turn, Chris?
That turn couldn't really have gone any worse for the Necrons if they tried. Not only did they fail to kill any of their key targets, but they now have quite poor board position. It's now up to Tzeentch to make the most of this. They've essentially gained an entire turn, so if they have a good one here, that'll probably be the nail in the coffin. If we look back to Necron's turn 1, they took over that Treasure of Aeons objective with some scarabs, and then failed to charge. If instead of charging they had just used their additional movement or advance roll instead to position themselves so that any deep striking threat couldn't charge to reach them and get much onto the objective instead, then they would be sitting a lot more pretty. Unfortunately, hindsight is a wonderful thing, so let's see if Tzeentch are able to capitalise. Lee has done some movement. He's obviously almost, as we said previously, he's got that tempo move now because he's almost gained a turn because I didn't get to do what I wanted to do. So if Lee can have a really strong turn here, I'm not going to have a tough time to catch up. So this could be the game deciding battle round.
Let's see.
So Lee, what are you going to do?
So the first thing is I've moved my Demon Prince across here to try and take on this guy. I know I've not had much luck dealing with him so far, but it is a 5-point swing, and I do need to be in this quarter anyway. I've moved my rubrics ever slightly closer onto that objective in the corner. I was tempted to keep them still and potentially fire them twice, but there's so few in the squad it didn't feel worth doing.
Sure.
So at least they are on the objective if I am ever able to clear out the rest. Sure. I've left the pinks in combat here just to hopefully force this guy to not be able to shoot me next turn.
Yeah, him not doing anything is kind of hurt.
I've brought this Lord of Change back, still on the objective, but trying to make the use of any obscuring terrain.
Yep.
Just force Chris to move again. This Lord of Change I brought back down so to deal with these warriors and potentially this character as well. And at the same time, I've actually brought in one of my spawn here. So right on the edge, I've actually brought it in within engagement range.
Because you can do.
Because I can, because it's on my battlefield edge, and I paid reinforcements for him. And that is the reason I've done that is because I want to be in combat anyway, but also don't want Chris to be able to fire Overwatch at me.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, that's.
I have no CP, but yeah, I get it.
Yes, yeah, it's still good practice.
Yeah.
And then the other Lord of Change I've had to bring back here. I really was tempted to try and go after the gunboat, but my base was actually too big to fit in the gap here without being in an inch. So I do need to get rid of those scarabs. So if I could smite them a little bit now, just to bring it down so that they can't possibly hold their objective, or hopefully not kill enough. To do that. That's the Lord Change with the D3 plus 1 mortal wounds. It's got that better chance of maybe getting rid of a base. And then the other spawn and my last model, because obviously it's turn 3 and I have to bring it in, it's just come down here. So ideally he's hidden there from most things from line of sight to begin with, and it gives me the flexibility to go either way if one of my squads dies for engagement front. There's a very good chance those rubrics won't be there, and also an equally good chance the Demon Prince won't be there, but if I can be in one of the two quarters at least, that helps me a lot. So see if that works. I left the pinks in combat, and that's purely because I can't actually...
You can't shoot if you fall back, and you're only trying to hold the objective.
I need to be there, exactly. So we'll see if that does anything. I might be able to do they might be able to smite and do some mortal wins, then get rid of the base, you know. So so we will go into the psychic phase, I guess.
Cool. Psychic phase coming up next.
Okay, so psychic phase is over. Wasn't hugely impressive. I managed to do the mental interrogation again, which is still important for me. Managed to do a few smites, got rid of the scarab base, took one down to a wound. Got Weaver of Fates back on the Demon Prince and did a few more mortal wounds over here. It wasn't much, but I wasn't really expecting much
to do. Exactly.
And that's what I mean about the Tzeentch panels. They're not great, and it's because the pinks aren't available to shoot. Gaze of Fate, Flickering Flames is no good. So we're going to move into the shooting phase, and I'm going to start with these rubrics down here, and they are going to be in rapid fire range, and they're going to shoot at the Guardians there. So it's going to be 6 shots plus 1 for the pistol. So we'll be hitting on 3s, and we'll be wounding on 4s. So it's just 1 at -2.
Cool, so 1 6-up save, which I do not make. Does he come back to life? Reroll 1s.
Attention.
Just
reroll 1s.
Just keep rerolling, That's how the game works, right? Yeah? Okay, so he's dead.
Okay, so that's the whole shooting phase.
And that's the shooting phase.
So it will be the charge phase next.
So we have done some charges over here. The Big Bird has gone into the scarabs up there. He can do, because obviously it's a 5-inch vertical thing you can do. Over then you've got the other Big Bird has gone into both the Chronomancer and the Warriors. And then over here, the Demon Prince is going into the Doomstalker, who of course gets to Overwatch.
Yeah, no CP required for this. That's just part of its rules.
So this could be a moment. This could be a game-changing moment.
It would be quite a big moment.
So D6 shots.
It's 5. It's good now, guys.
Are you worried then?
I'm a little worried. I'm always a bit worried about everything.
6s.
I'm less worried now, Chris.
Just give me one thing, could you? One thing.
So we're going to move in, and I'm probably going to take 3 turns to kill you. So
that's true. Yeah.
That's game over here. Alright, we'll move them in.
Into the 5 phase we go, and we're going to start off with the exciting one of Demon Prince into Doomstalker.
They had mixed results with these so far. So let's see. So 2's running once. I obviously do get the extra attack now because I charged this turn. Well, at least I didn't lose one more than that. And then wounding on 3s.
So what would you roll, please?
I'm tempted to gaze of fate on one of these if needed, which I will, I think. So let's gaze of fate that one. No. So you've got 5, minus 2. Just don't fail them all.
As long as I don't fail them all, guys, so we'll be fine.
He fails them all.
I've failed them all. Okay.
I mean, that's unlikely.
That is quite unlikely to not roll any 5s and 6s. Cool. Does he explode? No, not even.
Not even that.
No, not even that. Excellent. Okay, well, let's see what's up next.
Okay, next then. So after that display, this Lord of Change here is going to attack into this guy.
This guy, the Proxied Chronomancer.
Proxied Chronomancer.
I haven't actually mentioned this yet on camera, so I will now say that. Obviously, you'll have noticed that I'm playing with actual Chronomancers. They're not out yet, so I've just been using my Imotech as my Overlord, and then using my normal Lord and my and was something else as. Yeah, you get what I'm saying. It's very
2 proxy models.
3 proxy models.
And it's been a long day.
No one cares. Anyway.
Anyway, so hitting on 2s. They all hit. Strength 6, so wounding on 3s. You get 3 wounds at minus 2 flat 3 damage.
How many? 3?
3.
I failed them all.
I presume he has less than 9 wounds.
He's dead.
He's dead.
He's dead again. Something has died immediately.
I'm just going to move him
dead.
away quietly.
He's going 3 for 3, and so he's now going to use his single spawn to take out the entire 10-man squad.
It's not possible, but I love the idea. So I just wanted to do the spawn on camera because it's a little bit more interesting than a lot of other models because it has a couple of different modifiers.
No one ever uses them.
And no one ever uses them, especially not in squads of 1.
No.
So the first thing I need to do is roll for its mutated beyond reason roll. There is a Thousand Sons stratagem. You can use this to pick the result you want, but I don't really care that much right now. No. So it's going to be a D3, and it's going to mean I have re-rolled failed wounds for the phase, and it's D6 attack. So last time I did this, I rolled a 1.
Okay.
It's a 3 this time. So let's just do it now. So hitting on 4s. You got 1 hit, Chris. I'm going to re-roll this. I am strength 5. It's already wounded. It's at minus 2 and 2 damage.
Oh, I have a lovely 6-up save, which I fail.
So yeah, 2 damage.
1 is dead. Do I come back? It's a 1. Not that you
Can
can
we roll
see.
that?
It
does!
Oh, look at that.
Chaos Spawn.
Oh, OP, right. And then we will go and do the other fights, and we'll let you know how much blood has been, or oil has been spilled afterwards. Right, we finished off the fight phase. Absolutely nothing happened over here. I killed 5 pinks, Lee killed a base in return. Those scarabs obviously got obliterated. Not much happened there either. Triarch finally managed to kill 2 pink horrors, which is exciting. So now we've just got some morale to do.
So we'll start on these pink horrors. Again, they can't fail. I'm just fishing for a 1.
Please don't do it.
Oh, so close. And then the others, they did lose 5. So I need to roll a 1 or a 2, or we'll be facing morale. I roll a 6, so 1 does run away. So then I need to roll my attrition test.
So they failed. We've got 20 dice.
Looking for not 1s.
Lots of 1s, please.
Getting 2. I can live with that.
Okay.
2 out of 20.
Okay. Well, Lee, that is your turn.
Yes.
How are you feeling?
Weird still. It's a strange game. Obviously, I'm really happy to get rid of the big walker thing over here.
Yeah.
I've done a bit of tagging in that turn, which kind of keeps things ticking over for me. I think points wise I'm doing okay. Just doesn't feel like I'm still on knife edge for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I think that's just the way with Warhammer though, isn't it? You want to be so sure of things in a game of chance. So yeah, I mean, feeling okay.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Let's have a look at the points now. It's another really efficient turn for Tzeentch, as you can see from the scoreboard. They're scoring nicely in both the primaries and secondaries, and there's not much that Necrons can now do to stop them. They're not scoring too well themselves, so they're going to really have to pull something out of the bag here in a bit of a Hail Mary play. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I've done some movement. Things obviously aren't looking too great for the Necrons, but you know, you always got to keep fighting, haven't you? So, I'm dropping dice. Over here, we're going to have the warriors are going to shoot into there.
Yeah.
I actually have the Cryptothralls to deploy scramblers in the backfield, but I can't because he is unintentionally screaming me out quite
He does not give enough credit.
Was it deliberately?
No.
No, okay.
But you underestimate how lucky I am.
So that means the warriors over in the back, they will do it. They will just deploy scramblers. They won't do anything else apart from get butchered. They won't all die, so I will get my deploy scramblers.
Yes.
These guys have moved out to try and get lucky and kill him. You
4
never
wins
know.
left.
It could happen. These scarabs have gone across. They're going to try an 8-inch charge into the brims, and that might get me a bit of a treasure.
Yeah.
So they can go big with their attacks. So yeah, we're going to have these warriors, and they're going to shoot into there. So we're looking for 3s.
No strats this time, is there?
There are no strats this time. I think we've kind of done away with that. So I've done well with the 6s today.
You have done well with the 6s.
And then we're looking for 3s again.
Yeah.
Of course, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 saves.
Let me just grab them. 9 dice. I don't want you to alarm you, Chris, but that's the blessed number of each. Which means I'm probably...
Don't you dare. So 4 ups.
No, they are dead. So I fell 4, and they're 5 in fact, and there are only 4 there. So.
Good. So they are.
Had there been 1 left, I could have spent a CP on that, but no.
No, not.
I can't do that to you today, Chris.
No, not today. And then we've got the 2 locusts going into the Lord of Change with
the
4 wounds
yeah,
left.
this is big.
There we go. So 3s re-rolling 1s. I've rolled a double 1. So let's roll that one again. Oh,
got 1 Chris. Does he wound?
Yes. Right. Can you please save? It's 4 up.
I do. You said, "Can I please save it?" So I did.
Save it, and you did. Yeah.
I mean, can't do any more than what you ask of me,
What?
Chris.
I don't think I've got any other shooting. Cool. Right, charge phase. Cryptothralls over there. We're going to charge into the pinks, needing a 9. That's an 8.
It's so close.
So they don't get
They don't get in.
So now we've got the scarabs, and they're going to
They
go
do
to those
need an 8.
names. They do need an 8. Can I use that one? No? Okay, so it needs an 8. I've got my CP to re-roll it.
He doesn't
I
need
only
it!
need 2! That's the wrong way round, guys!
But they are in, so that
they
means
are in. That's exciting.
Some good news for Chris there.
Finally, Necron fans, we have some good news. Scarabs to the rescue!
Scarabs still the best
Scarab
unit.
Swarm! Right, into the fight phase we go, and we've got 4 Scarab bases, and they're going to try and kill enough brims, I therefore hold that objective.
It's very exciting.
It's very exciting. That is the unit that have taken off 4 wounds from Lord of Change. That's
They've
the
been
unit
tough, yeah.
that had wiped out like 20 horrors. They've done work. The rest of the Necrons haven't turned up. But here we go. Hit on 4s, looking for all the 6s in the world.
So you get a few 6s, not as many as you'd like, I'm sure. But
no.
Can there ever be?
What toughness are you?
Toughness 3.
Cool. So we're looking for 4s to wound.
Good roll.
Oh yeah, there we go. 5. That's 8. That's 8 saves on the
There you
brims.
go. So then he has a 6-up invuln. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
No, you don't do this to me.
I do make 2, so 6 go down.
So you've got 4 left.
I've got 4 left. Which is, I don't know if you know that, Chris, but that's exactly the right amount I need to still hold that objective.
I don't know whether to laugh or cry.
So let's take out. I don't want to be in combat with you.
Okay, so you've removed yourself from combat.
I don't see there being any upside for those Brimstone horrors to being in combat with you.
And they can't run away because
No, you should 10.
And you've lost. Oh, you've lost
6.
So you might run away.
It's possible.
Well, we will do the rest of the meaningless assaults off camera, and then we'll come back to you with a end of turn debrief. Well, we did some more fighting. The Scarabs killed like 4 or 5
4 pinks.
Lost a base themselves. I lost 2 warriors over there. And then, of course, the Triac Stalker on his own, he just needed to kill the 2 pink horrors. I mean,
even 1 would have contested it.
Yeah, but no, instead
Rolled
he
3
decided
ones.
to roll 3 1s out of 3 for his wound roll. So now I don't even hold that objective anymore. So yeah, it's gone really well, guys. I'm really happy with how everything's gone.
So I don't really need to ask you how I think it's
No, can we also just add that on the morale phase for the pinks, where I just killed 5, what did you offer in morale, Lee?
I rolled a 1 and 3 more back.
Okay, so you brought some
so
even
so
more
far
back.
I've got 7 back in this game.
And that's about the same, yeah, cool. So, in summary, Warhammer sucks.
Channel's over.
Channel's over, we quit. No,
I don't.
Yeah, these on a streak now. No, in all seriousness, obviously this game is done. What we are going to do is play it out, and then we'll let you know how it goes at the end. What the final score is, because obviously you want a bit of finality.
Need some closure.
We need some closure. Well, I certainly need closure, and to bin my dice. Well, actually, no, not bin my dice. Bin your dice.
No, just bin your models.
Just bin the models.
Melt them down.
I could
make new dice.
Yeah. And there we have it, a strong 95-64 point victory to the forces of Chaos. Lee played a really good game here. He managed to both control the primaries and secondaries, and the Necrons, once their second turn shenanigans fluffed, were never really in it and had no chance of catching up in all reality. The boys are now going to debrief and give their thoughts on what happened on the rest of the game, and any changes they would make or anything they would do differently. Well, that is the game over and done with. It finishes as a 95-64 point victory to the mighty forces of Tzeentch.
Yeah. These turned up today.
They did turn up. Just to let you guys know, for those final 2 turns, any highlights for you of what happened?
There are a couple of bits that I thought were quite cool. Lord of Change eventually did go down in the corner. It is possible to do it.
Killed 1.
And the other bit that I think was really funny for me, if you've ever played, you'll know I'm always complaining about the Locus of Trickery not doing anything. And obviously earlier in the game you saw when I got the boxcars on Locus of Trickery to stop the Scarabs from really doing anything. And I thought, that's funny. And then it happened again. So not in a different time, because Chris was gunning for the Treasure of the Aeons, and that would have scored another few points. But yeah, they were not to be killed.
No, they were not.
How about you?
It was this never-ending combat.
Yeah,
of Pinks versus Scarabs. We'll talk about the game in itself in a bit, but yeah, it was that was just quite frustrating. Killing the Lord of Change finally.
Yeah.
That was quite exciting. Managed to get the Locust Destroyers to get through with 1 shot. The 1 bit of damage I did the whole game. Managed to fluff some quite incredible rolls. I did forget that you can fire. This is how rusty I am with this army. So basically the Triarch Stalker was in combat with
2 pinks.
2 pink
horrors. 4.
And for about 2 or 3 turns, didn't fire the gun into them once, just forgot that was a thing, and just kept failing my rolls. He kept making 4-pin Vans.
I think they had to roll the Vans.
Yeah, that cost me probably another 5 or even 10 primary points. So yeah, there was some pretty poor play in that bit, but it was really good fun. Getting to kill that was quite fun, and we had this moment where the Stalker had to get into the brimstones right at the end to try and kill all of them.
Had to kill them all, yeah.
So I thought, well, I've got two D6 flamer, so
4 brimstone horrors.
I could roast them all, but I don't want to. I want to kill like 1 or 2. But I was like, I need to kill some, because his 4 attacks he probably won't kill all 4 brimstones. So I rolled the flame shot. 2 1s. So
you're actually grateful for the first time ever.
Oh, that's great. So I killed 2, or I killed 1 brimstone.
It was 1, yeah.
And then I had an 8-inch charge, which I made. Then I managed to kill.
Managed to get in there. Yeah.
So I managed to get those final Aeon points. Very exciting. When you've lost already, that's those little things.
You'll go to the end.
Yeah.
Play to the whistle, right?
So in terms of the game, what do you think the key moments were?
For me, I think there were 2. From my side, there were 2 things that really made the difference. I spoke about at the beginning, which was that really brave manoeuvre, taking the Demon Prince up in the front there, shutting down the things.
Doomstalkers.
That was a prompt.
Yeah.
Shutting down Doomstalkers. He did take his time to chew through them. Obviously, the first one took 3 turns, and then the next one took 1 turn.
1 shot. Yeah.
So that was really big, because it sort of cost you 10 points.
Yeah.
And shut the things down that actually could have done some damage to my Lords of Change. So it sort of worked on both fronts there. And the other one, funny enough, and was the charge. So when I brought the 30 pink horrors down, I brought them in this space. And really it was to get the 90 shots on the scarabs that I was intending to do the work. It didn't really do anything, in truth. But I was able to charge the heavy destroyers there. And just that's how I got that objective and how I stayed on it for so long. I did get some lucky with the locust rolls. And also a couple of the morale checks. I think I've potentially I've seven pinks in the game, which is really, really good. So from my side, they were the biggest two moments.
Yeah, I think that's it. I was saying to Lee off camera, I into turn 1, I was like, this is very neck and neck. Like Lee had made a very aggressive move. Not in a million years did I think that Demon Prince was coming over towards me. Didn't even spot it. And then at the end of my turn, I've dealt with pretty much with 2 units of Rubies.
Yeah, they were gone.
They're what hurt me. On top of that, my scarabs have gone off and chewed through like 20.
Yes, like they were nothing.
And I'm thinking, I think I'm in a pretty good situation here. And then it was, as you say, it was just basically battle round 2, which decided the whole game. You re-rolling that charge and then getting in just meant that now my Treasure of Aeon's kind of like backup was never going to be an easy one. I rushed in confidently because I was like, I killed 20 last time, and that did not happen ever again.
Did it? Yeah.
I think my turn 2 was just a literal non-event. I killed virtually nothing in that turn and gained nothing.
I think you had some important charge rolls that didn't come off as well, so the movement wasn't really there either.
I had my kind of back tools slightly, I think, so I made some bit more aggressive moves and not one of them paid off. Maybe I would have been better off just trying to hold back still. I mean, at the end of the game, we've still got a reasonably large amount left still.
We both did actually. In terms of then the secondaries, how do you feel like your choices were? Because I'll go first. I think mine...
yours were amazing.
I mean, I've said it before. I like secondaries that you score in the moment. I don't really like the ones where you wait to the end of the game or you have to perform a certain number of actions that then materialise, such as deploy scramblers. Or there's that psychic ritual one that's I think is terrible. So to have engage on front where you score each turn, I really like that. And just I don't know, it's like in sport, you take the points you can get, and then
it's all ball pressure, isn't it?
Exactly, it makes the other person feel like they have to be doing something. And obviously the laws of change are hard to kill, and they're the perfect candidates for mental interrogation because they get the +2 to it, so they actually can't fail it while they're at their top bracket. And they're quick, so they can basically always get to a character, and they just don't die. And the spells aren't good. I've said that before. So the spells aren't good. So
Laws of Change didn't overpower the game in any way, but they did more than enough, didn't they?
They really sum up so far to me what 9th edition is about, which is playing that mission. So I basically picked them, knowing that they can't really be killed with most armies, and they can't really. Typically, if they've got characters which every army has, they can always score some points on that.
Absolutely. So I think it's...
For this design, I guess.
It's a really nice list. We've spoken quite at length about it, and I think we're getting to a stage now where it's actually shaping up. It'd be really interesting to see how it handles sort of other armies now.
Yes, yeah. A bit limited.
Yeah. In terms of my secondaries, there weren't good choices. Obviously,
you did struggle quite a lot to decide them at the beginning, right?
Treasure of Aeon's was... This army is designed to play the primaries well and holding objectives well. And it didn't do that. The fact that Lee scored 45 on his primaries and I didn't get anywhere near that just proves kind of that. So I think that's probably a flaw in the list design. Because it just didn't have any killing power, it didn't have any close combat. He's just trying to play the mission well, but clearly didn't play the mission well enough today. If I had chosen engagement or front, I would have had another few points. Probably would have been up around the 70-point mark today, which is something, I guess. So scoring 70 points in a game is not bad, but it probably doesn't win you too many games.
That's a good second place normally, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Honourable mention. While the standing fight was always going to be horrible. And we spoke about pre-game about how this matchup might go, and you delivered, you played really well. So it's definitely back to the drawing board for me. I know already because this is actually the second time we played this game. We have had another one as just to make sure the game would be close. I went first in that one, and
it was closer.
It was closer. I lost by like 20 points rather than 30. And I kind of knew I couldn't be as aggressive. And I also knew I just didn't have the killing power. So in my mind, I was like, I need to kill the rubrics. So I did kill the rubrics, but those pinks came and saved the day. So
that's good list obsolescence planned in.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the plan.
So no, that was a really, really enjoyable game. And I will have to come back and try and get revenge. Next time, I think I'll move away from this, because I don't want to put you guys off, but it's not a very fun list to play. If you are going for that kind of that OBSEC, Silvertide kind of Scarabs, Warriors, hold the objectives, personally I don't think it is for me. Just trying to play the objectives, I want to go and kill stuff a bit more. I like to have the tactical nous of the Scarabs and that sort of thing, but I just need a bit more killing power. So I think I will return to having a bit more oomph in there, be it close combat or lots of shooting. Be fun to see if the old vehicle list of 8 actually does anything, or if I'm able to utilise a load of close combat stuff.
That could be fun too.
And then at some point we'll have a rematch.
It has been fun to see all the, well, not all the news, but a lot of the new units though. Like, you can really feel they fundamentally really giving Necrons quite a lot of new tools that they didn't have before. And they compare. I mean, I played your Necrons in 8th edition a lot of times, and it was this flying gun line effectively. And the way that they seem to have been designed now is nowhere near like that.
It just doesn't work in the game because you can't fall back and shoot anymore. And that's quite a big thing. So I definitely a rethink of the army, but obviously it will still be jam packed with Scarabs.
They're not going anywhere.
No. So next time, it will be something a bit different. But no, thank you very much for the game.
Yeah, no, it was great. I felt like it was, the list is coming together. So
it is, yes.
We'll keep practicing.
Yes, as and when legally allowed.
Yes,
of course.
But, might be a while now, I think.
But thank you very much for joining us. Take care, and we shall see you soon.
Cheers, guys.
Goodbye.